A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a shocking turn of events, clashes erupted late Friday night in the tense border region between Pakistan and Afghanistan, marking a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict between the two neighboring countries. Each side has accused the other of launching unprovoked attacks, resulting in tragic casualties and raising concerns about the fragile peace that has been tenuously maintained since the Taliban's return to power in 2021. According to reports from Afghan officials, 4 civilians were killed in an overnight exchange of fire at one of the main border crossings, specifically at the Spin Boldak district, which connects to the Pakistani town of Chaman. This incident has drawn attention to the increasing volatility along the border, which has remained largely closed amidst accusations and counter-accusations of harboring militants and conducting cross-border attacks. The governor of Spin Boldak, Abdul Karim Jihad, confirmed the fatalities and reported that 4 additional individuals sustained injuries during the crossfire. Local hospitals in the border town of Chaman reported treating several patients for minor injuries, with 3 individuals being discharged shortly after. The exchange of fire reportedly began around 10:30 p.m. local time and lasted for approximately 2 hours. Eyewitness accounts from residents on the Afghan side described heavy artillery fire, with reports of mortar shells striking civilian homes. The Taliban's government spokesman, Zabihullah Mujahid, took to social media to assert that the Pakistani forces initiated the attack, forcing a response from their side. Conversely, Pakistan's government has vehemently denied these claims, asserting that it was the Afghan Taliban that fired first. Musharraf Zaidi, a spokesperson for Pakistan's prime minister, stated that an immediate, befitting, and intense response was executed by the armed forces. This back-and-forth exchange of accusations highlights the deep-seated mistrust that exists between the two nations, especially following the Taliban's rise to power, which has exacerbated security concerns in the region. The recent clashes come on the heels of a fragile ceasefire that was brokered after deadly confrontations in October, which resulted in over 70 deaths and hundreds of injuries. Despite previous agreements facilitated by Qatar and Turkey, subsequent peace talks held in Doha and Istanbul have failed to yield a lasting resolution to the ongoing conflict. Tensions have escalated further since the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, with Islamabad accusing Kabul of providing sanctuary to militant groups, particularly the Pakistani Taliban, TTP, which has launched numerous attacks on Pakistani soil. The Taliban government has categorically denied these allegations, asserting that Pakistan is using them as a scapegoat for its own security failures. In recent weeks, both sides have engaged in a series of negotiations aimed at establishing a broader peace settlement, yet these discussions have been marred by mutual distrust and sporadic violence. Last week, delegations from both countries met in Saudi Arabia for a 4th round of talks, but once again, no agreement was reached. The situation remains dire, with the Pakistani Foreign Ministry warning that the ceasefire is at risk due to major attacks on its territory. The government in Islamabad had previously announced plans to partially reopen the border for humanitarian aid deliveries, despite the ongoing hostilities. However, it remains to be seen how the latest clashes will impact these efforts. As the situation continues to unfold, residents in the border regions are left to grapple with the consequences of this renewed violence, with many fleeing their homes in search of safety. The humanitarian implications of this conflict are profound, as civilians bear the brunt of the violence and instability. The international community watches closely as both Pakistan and Afghanistan navigate this precarious moment in their relationship, with hopes that dialogue and diplomacy can eventually pave the way for lasting peace. However, given the history of mistrust and violence, achieving a sustainable resolution may prove to be an uphill battle. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.